20 most incredible UNESCO World Heritage Sites. There are over 1,100 places on this planet that humanity has collectively agreed are too extraordinary to ever lose. They span ancient ruins and living rainforests, sacred temples and frozen landscapes, cities that have stood for millennia and ecosystems that took millions of years to form. These are the UNESCO World Heritage Sites officially recognized by the United Nations as irreplaceable treasures of our world. But among those 1,100, there are 20 that stand in a category entirely their own. These are the sites that don't just impress, they stop you in your tracks, change the way you see the world, and remind you just how astonishing this planet truly is. Here are the 20 most incredible UNESCO World Heritage Sites on Earth. Number 20. Dubrovnik Old Town, Croatia. Perched on the edge of the Adriatic Sea, Dubrovnik's Old Town is one of the most perfectly preserved medieval cities on the planet. Enclosed within massive stone walls that have stood for over 700 years, the city was once a powerful maritime republic that rivaled Venice itself for dominance over the Adriatic trade routes. Its limestone streets, Baroque churches, and grand public squares have remained virtually unchanged for centuries, earning it UNESCO status in 1979. The city's famous walls stretch for nearly 2 kilometers and rise up to 25 meters high in places, offering sweeping views over the terracotta rooftops and the shimmering blue sea below. Visitors can walk the full perimeter of the walls, explore the ornate rector's palace, and wander through the historic Stadium, the city's magnificent main thoroughfare. Number 19. Stonehenge, United Kingdom. Few places on Earth generate as much fascination and debate as Stonehenge, the prehistoric monument standing alone on the windswept plains of Wiltshire, England. Construction began around 3000 BC, making it older than the Egyptian pyramids, yet its true purpose remains one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. The monument consists of massive standing stones, some weighing up to 25 tons, that were transported from quarries as far as 200 miles away, using only the tools and knowledge available to Neolithic people. What makes Stonehenge even more remarkable is its precise astronomical alignment during the summer solstice. The rising sun aligns perfectly with the central altar stone, suggesting the site served as a sophisticated calendar or ceremonial center. The surrounding landscape is equally significant, dotted with ancient burial mounds and processional avenues that form one of the most extraordinary prehistoric complexes ever discovered. Number 18. Sundarbans, Bangladesh and India. Stretching across the delta of the Ganges, Brahmaputra, and Meghna rivers, the Sundarbans is the largest mangrove forest in the world and one of the most biologically extraordinary places on Earth. Covering over 10,000 square kilometers across Bangladesh and India, this dense and labyrinthine wilderness of waterways, mudflats, and tidal channels is home to one of the last remaining populations of the Bengal tiger, a subspecies so elusive that local fishermen and honey collectors still enter the forest with the knowledge that they may not return. The Sundarbans plays a critical role in protecting millions of people along the Bay of Bengal from the devastating impact of cyclones and tidal surges. Its complex ecosystem supports an astonishing diversity of wildlife, including saltwater crocodiles, Irrawaddy dolphins, and hundreds of bird species found nowhere else in the region. Number 17. Yellowstone National Park, USA. The world's first national park is also one of its most geologically violent. Yellowstone sits atop one of the largest active supervolcanoes on the planet, a fact that drives the extraordinary spectacle of geysers, hot springs, mud pots, and fumaroles that make the park unlike anywhere else on Earth. The iconic Old Faithful geyser erupts with clockwork regularity, shooting boiling water up to 56 meters into the air, while the Grand Prismatic Spring, the largest hot spring in the United States, blazes with an otherworldly rainbow of colors caused by heat-loving microorganisms living at its edges. Beyond its geological wonders, Yellowstone is a thriving wilderness, home to the largest concentration of free-roaming megafauna in the continental United States, including bison herds, gray wolves, grizzly bears, and elk. It was inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1978 and remains one of the most visited and celebrated wild places in the world. Number 16. Meteora, Greece. Rising from the plains of central Greece like the pillars of some forgotten civilization, the rock formations of Meteora are among the most dramatic natural landscapes in Europe. Towering sandstone columns, some reaching over 400 meters in height, were formed by millions of years of geological upheaval, and it is atop these seemingly unreachable summits that Eastern Orthodox monks chose to build some of the most remarkable monasteries in the world. Dating back to the 14th century, these monasteries were originally accessible only by rope ladders or baskets hauled up by hand, an intentional isolation designed to bring the monks closer to God and further from the conflicts of the medieval world. 6 monasteries remain active today, their Byzantine frescoes, sacred relics, and ancient manuscripts preserved across the centuries. The combination of natural wonder and human spiritual achievement earned Meteora dual UNESCO recognition for both its natural and cultural significance. Number 15. Easter Island, Chile. Isolated in the middle of the South Pacific Ocean, more than 3,500 kilometers from the nearest populated land, Easter Island is one of the most remote inhabited places on Earth, and one of the most perplexing. The island is home to over 900 colossal stone statues known as moai, carved by the Rapa Nui people between the 13th and 16th centuries from the compressed volcanic ash of the island's Rano Raraku quarry. The largest completed moai stands nearly 10 meters tall and weighs an estimated 86 tons. How a pre-technological civilization transported these massive statues across rugged terrain to their coastal platforms remains a subject of intense archaeological debate. Even more mysterious is the collapse of the Rapa Nui civilization itself, which many scholars link to the ecological destruction caused by the very effort of building these extraordinary monuments. Today, Easter Island stands as both a triumph of human ambition and a haunting cautionary tale. Number 14. Galapagos Islands, Ecuador. When Charles Darwin stepped ashore on the Galapagos Islands in 1835, he encountered a world that would change science forever. Located roughly 1,000 kilometers off the coast of Ecuador in the Pacific Ocean, this remote archipelago of volcanic islands is home to an astonishing collection of wildlife found nowhere else on Earth. Giant tortoises that can live for over 150 years roam freely across the lava fields. Marine iguanas, the only ocean-swimming lizards on the planet, bask on black rocks along the shore. Blue-footed boobies perform their eccentric mating dances on open cliff tops. Because the islands were never connected to the South American mainland, Evolution proceeded here in extraordinary isolation, producing species uniquely adapted to each island's specific conditions. It was this diversity that gave Darwin the evidence he needed to develop his theory of natural selection. The Galapagos became UNESCO's very first World Heritage Site in 1978 and remains the gold standard for natural heritage protection. Number 13. Iguazu Falls, Argentina and Brazil. When Eleanor Roosevelt first saw Iguazu Falls, she reportedly said, "Poor Niagara." It is a sentiment shared by almost everyone who makes the journey to this thundering wall of water on the border of Argentina and Brazil. Iguazu is the largest waterfall system on Earth, comprising 275 individual cascades that stretch across nearly 3 kilometers of the Iguazu River. At its peak, the falls can discharge 19,000 cubic meters of water per second, a volume so staggering it creates a permanent mist that hangs over the surrounding rainforest like a low cloud. The undisputed centerpiece is the Devil's Throat, a U-shaped chasm into which 14 of the falls plunge simultaneously, creating a roar audible from kilometers away. The surrounding national parks on both sides of the border are teeming with wildlife, including jaguars, tapirs, giant anteaters, and hundreds of species of tropical birds. Visitors can walk suspended walkways directly over the falls for an experience that is, quite simply, overwhelming. Number 12. Göbekli Tepe, Turkey. In 1994, a Kurdish shepherd noticed an unusual stone protruding from a hillside in southeastern Turkey, and what archaeologists uncovered beneath it rewrote the history of human civilization. Göbekli Tepe is a megalithic sanctuary built approximately 11,500 years ago, making it the oldest known monumental structure ever constructed by human hands, predating Stonehenge by 6,000 years and the Egyptian pyramids by 7,000. The site consists of massive T-shaped limestone pillars, some over 5 meters tall and weighing up to 20 tons, arranged in circular enclosures and covered in intricate carvings of animals, abstract symbols, and human forms. The most astonishing aspect of Göbekli Tepe is not what was built, but who built it. Hunter-gatherers with no agriculture, no cities, and no written language. Its existence suggests that organized religion and monumental architecture may have preceded farming, fundamentally challenging everything we thought we knew about the origins of civilization. It was inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2018. Number 11. Ha Long Bay, Vietnam. Rising from the emerald waters of the Gulf of Tonkin, the 1,600 limestone karst islands and islets of Ha Long Bay form one of the most surreal and beautiful seascapes on Earth. Sculpted over millions of years by the action of wind and water on ancient limestone, the islands take on extraordinary shapes: towering columns, arching caves, forested peaks that Vietnamese legend attributes to the descent of a great dragon sent by the gods to protect the land from invaders. Some of the islands are hollow, containing vast cathedral-like grottos decorated with stalactites and stalagmites that glow in shades of orange and gold in the torchlight. Others conceal hidden lakes, accessible only through low-sea caves navigable by kayak at low tide. An overnight cruise through Ha Long Bay, watching the mist lift from the karst peaks at dawn, ranks among the most magical travel experiences anywhere in the world. The bay has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1994. Number 10. Serengeti National Park, Tanzania. Every year, in one of the most spectacular events in the natural world, 1.5 million wildebeest and hundreds of thousands of zebra and gazelle begin a 1,200-kilometer circular journey across the Serengeti ecosystem, the largest overland migration of animals on Earth. Driven by rainfall and the relentless search for fresh grass, the herds cross crocodile-filled rivers, traverse open plains, and push through dense woodlands in a relentless cycle that has continued for millennia. The Serengeti is also home to the densest concentration of large predators on the planet, including lions, leopards, cheetahs, wild dogs, and hyenas, all of which depend on the migration for survival. Beyond the migration, the park's vast golden plains, acacia woodlands, and granite kopjes support an extraordinary year-round diversity of wildlife. Inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1981, the Serengeti remains the benchmark against which all other African safari destinations are measured. Number 9. Petra, Jordan. Hidden within a maze of narrow desert canyons in southern Jordan, the ancient city of Petra was lost to the Western world for nearly 500 years before a Swiss explorer was led to it by a local Bedouin guide in 1812. What he found was one of the most extraordinary cities ever built by human hands. Founded by the Nabatean Arabs over 2,000 years ago, Petra was carved directly into rose-red sandstone cliffs, its temples, tombs, theaters, and royal palaces cut from the living rock with breathtaking precision and artistry. The approach to the city through the Seek, a narrow winding gorge barely 2 meters wide and up to 200 meters tall, is one of the great dramatic entrances in all of travel. Emerging from the Seek to face the 40-meter-high facade of the treasury, its columns and pediments glowing in the morning light, is a moment that reduces even the most seasoned travelers to silence. At its peak, Petra was home to 30,000 people and controlled the most lucrative trade routes in the ancient world. Number 8. Venice and its lagoon. Italy. No city on Earth has been built quite like Venice. Constructed across 118 small islands in a shallow tidal lagoon at the top of the Adriatic Sea, Venice has no roads, only canals. Its extraordinary urban landscape of Gothic palaces, Renaissance churches, ornate bridges, and winding pedestrian alleys has remained essentially unchanged for 5 centuries, making it one of the most intact and visually astonishing historic cities in the world. The city was founded by refugees fleeing the collapse of the Roman Empire, and over the following millennium grew into one of the most powerful and wealthy republics in history, controlling trade routes between Europe and the East. The Grand Canal. Venice's main arterial waterway is lined with over 170 palaces and churches, representing 400 years of Venetian architectural ambition. But Venice faces an existential threat. The combination of rising sea levels and sinking foundations means that the city floods more frequently with every passing decade, making its UNESCO status both a recognition of its magnificence and an acknowledgement of its fragility. Number 7. Great Wall of China, China. Stretching across mountains, deserts, and plains for a total distance of over 21,000 kilometers, the Great Wall of China is the longest man-made structure ever built. Construction began as early as the 7th century BC and continued across multiple Chinese dynasties for nearly 2,000 years, with different sections built from stone, brick, tamped earth, and wood depending on the resources available to each ruling dynasty. The wall was not a single continuous barrier, but a vast and evolving system of fortifications, watchtowers, garrison stations, and signal beacons designed to protect China's northern borders from nomadic invasions. The most iconic and well-preserved sections, including the dramatic ridgeline sections at Mutianyu and Jinshanling, were constructed during the Ming Dynasty between the 14th and 17th centuries. Walking along the wall as it rises and falls across the jagged peaks of the Yan Mountains gives a profound sense of the extraordinary human effort and human cost required to build it. Number 6. Angkor, Cambodia. Between the 9th and 15th centuries, the Khmer Empire built the largest pre-industrial city in the world in the jungles of northwest Cambodia. At its height, the city of Angkor covered an area of over 1,000 square kilometers and was home to nearly 1 million people, making it far larger than any contemporary European city of the time. The jewel of this vanished empire is Angkor Wat, the largest religious monument ever constructed. A vast temple complex built in the early 12th century as both a state temple and the personal mausoleum of King Suryavarman II. Its 5 towers, representing the peaks of Mount Meru, the home of the gods in Hindu cosmology, rise above an intricate system of galleries, libraries, and reflecting pools that cover an area of nearly 200 hectares. The entire complex is surrounded by a moat 190 meters wide and 5 kilometers long. When the jungle swallowed Angkor after the empire's decline, its temples lay hidden beneath centuries of vegetation until French explorers encountered them in the 19th century, astonished to find a civilization of such staggering scale hiding in the forest. Number 5. Great Barrier Reef, Australia. Visible from space, the Great Barrier Reef is the largest living structure on Earth. Stretching for over 2,300 kilometers along the northeast coast of Australia, it is an ecosystem of almost incomprehensible complexity, comprising 2,900 individual reefs, 900 islands, and a biodiversity that supports more species of fish, coral, mollusk, and marine life than almost any other ecosystem on the planet. The reef has been building itself for approximately 20,000 years, layer upon layer of coral skeleton accumulating into the extraordinary underwater landscape that exists today. It is home to 6 of the world's 7 species of marine turtle, more than 1,500 species of fish, 4,000 types of mollusk, 215 species of birds, and 30 species of whales and dolphins. But the Great Barrier Reef is in profound danger. Rising ocean temperatures driven by climate change have caused repeated mass bleaching events that have killed significant portions of the reef. Its inscription as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1981 was a celebration today. It also serves as an urgent global warning about what stands to be lost. Number 4. Machu Picchu, Peru. Clinging to a mountain ridge 2,430 meters above sea level in the Peruvian Andes, Machu Picchu is the most iconic symbol of the Inca civilization and one of the greatest archaeological sites in the world. Built in the mid-15th century at the height of Inca power, the citadel was abandoned less than a century later, possibly following a smallpox epidemic that swept through the empire ahead of Spanish conquest, and remained unknown to the outside world until American historian Hiram Bingham was guided to it by a local farmer in 1911. What Bingham found was a city of extraordinary architectural sophistication, precisely fitted stone walls constructed without mortar, temples aligned to the movements of the sun and stars, agricultural terraces cascading down the mountainside, and a sophisticated hydraulic system that brought fresh water to every part of the city. The sheer drama of Machu Picchu's setting surrounded by cloud-shrouded peaks, the Urubamba River winding far below, makes it not just an archaeological wonder, but one of the most visually breathtaking places on Earth. Number 3. Taj Mahal, India. Built by grief, perfected by obsession, and completed by the labor of 20,000 workers over more than 2 decades, the Taj Mahal is widely regarded as the most beautiful building ever constructed by human hands. The Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan commissioned the mausoleum in 1632, following the death of his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal during the birth of their 14th child. Every element of the complex was designed to express the emperor's boundless love and sorrow. The central dome of white Makrana marble rises 73 meters above its platform and is flanked by 4 perfectly proportioned minarets. The marble surface is inlaid with semi-precious stones, lapis lazuli, jade, crystal, turquoise, and onyx in intricate floral and geometric patterns so fine that they appear almost painted. The Taj changes color throughout the day, appearing pale pink at dawn, dazzling white at noon, and golden in the light of the moon. Seen reflected in the long, rectangular pool that leads to its entrance, it is an image of such perfect symmetry and serene beauty that it seems almost impossible that human hands could have made it. Number 1. The Pyramids of Giza, Egypt. For nearly 4,000 years, the Great Pyramid of Giza was the tallest structure ever built by human beings. It held that record longer than any other building in history, and it was constructed over 4,500 years ago by a civilization that had no iron tools, no wheeled vehicles, and no machinery of any kind. The Great Pyramid was built as the tomb of the pharaoh Khufu during the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom, and its construction required the precise quarrying, transportation, and placement of an estimated 2.3 million stone blocks, some weighing up to 80 tons, with an accuracy of alignment to the cardinal points that modern engineers still struggle to fully explain. The pyramid rises 138 meters from the desert floor and covers a base area of over 5 hectares. It is aligned to true north with an error of less than 0.05 degrees. Alongside it stand the slightly smaller Pyramid of Khafre, the Pyramid of Menkaure, and the Great Sphinx, the largest monolithic statue in the world. The pyramids at Giza are the only surviving wonder of the ancient world, the oldest structure on UNESCO's World Heritage List, and without question, the most extraordinary testament to human ambition, ingenuity, and will ever created. They were a wonder when they were built. They remain a wonder today.